Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaos Live. We're happy to have you joining us for tonight's episode, where we have quite a few great guests that we're going to share some time with here tonight. And we're going to hear from John Hale, one of the main reasons there is a Funny Car Chaos Championship Tour. And we're going to find out what's happening with the Best of Texas Barbecue Sauce Man. And we're also going to interview Jake Sanders and Katie Buttera, definitely one of the power couples in the world of drag racing as they continue to build things, including their brand. And that's a big part of what's coming your way tonight on Chaos Live. My name's David Rattan. I'm the voice of Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos, and I'm happy to welcome all of you here. We've got Lee Kraft turning the knobs out there and making sure that everything is good to go. And of course, we are in the countdown now for the 5th annual Funny Car Chaos Classic featuring Nitro Chaos at the fabled Texas Motorplex, where they're celebrating 40 years this year. And the car count just continues to rise, and we have all kinds of chatter on the internet and on the social media outlets about who's building what, where, and when they're heading to Texas for this extraordinary event that will be one of the best events that any of us have ever experienced when we get down to the Texas Motorplex coming up next week. Next week at this time, probably all of our competitors will be in the house, and if not, they will certainly be on the way, as some testing is scheduled to take place a week from today on Wednesday in a private test session. Plus, then everybody will be given the opportunity to do some testing on the following day, and we will kick things off with the testing and the pre-party. Then it's qualifying on Friday and qualifying and eliminations on Saturday. But we are excited about being there. Just the text threads are going wild across the country, whether it's messenger, whether it's text, whether it's phone calls, whether it's emails. And of course, the social media is ablaze with people talking about what all is happening coming up here in 2025 as we get ready to turn the calendar over to April. And that means that it is full-on racing season. Some of the races that are taking place in the area, of course, up north, might be a few races going on, but here in Texas, we had a race this past weekend. Some of our Nitro Chaos competitors came out for the Extreme Fuel Altered event. And one of the things that you might be interested to know is that Bobby Marriott got a win in his Nitro Fuel Altered over Cody Austin. And I did say Cody Austin, not Jody Austin. Jody was there turning the wrenches, but his son Cody assumed the driver's duties for that particular event. And those two wound up in the finals. And so racing is well underway here in Texas, but it is really getting ready to kick off once we get into next week. And the 5th annual, hard to believe that this is the 5th year for this spectacular event, but man, the time is going by so quickly, and I cannot wait to see everybody show up. And we've got so much going on. We've got 42 cars at least entered for the 32 available spots in Funny Car. We've got 24 cars entered for the Nitro Chaos, running 2 8-car fields in Nitro Chaos. At least that's so far. We've got new Funny cars, new Nitro cars, and we got several racers who are actually going to try to compete in both Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos. And that being Chuck Lofton, Mitch King, and Wade Pennington, all bringing a fuel altered for Nitro Chaos and a Funny Car for Funny Car Chaos, plus new cars and new teams, people that we haven't seen in Funny Car Chaos competition before. But hang on to your hats and get ready, because we will definitely be seeing them compete at the Classic. So I am ready to take our first break, let you hear from some of our great sponsors. And right after that, we're going to come back and interview one bad Texan, Mr. John Hale. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
The biggest funny car race in the world is back. The 5th Annual Spell Paving Services Funny Car Chaos Classic, presented by Vertex Contractors, will rock the historic Texas Motorplex with 3 days of ground-pounding chaos drag racing. April 3rd through 5th, it's a chaos double down with 32-plus outlaw floppers of all kinds, plus the flamethrower and fuel-burning racers of the DMP Awnings Nitro Chaos Series. Plus, see dozens of gear slamming Dirty South gassers, TBR8 nostalgia racing, and more. It's the 40th anniversary of the Texas Motorplex, and we're celebrating chaos style. Yeah! Every ticket is a pit pass, and kids 12 and under are free. Tickets and information at texasmotorplex.com. Trust us when we say you gotta be there.
That is absolutely correct. You got to be there. John, I think you would second that motion, and you're definitely going to be there. Hey, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you back on again.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Man, I tell you, did you get a chance to fly today?
No, I didn't. We had showers off and on all day up there, and the skies were not going to permit it.
Well, the weather over there in your part of the Metroplex the last several days has been iffy at the best. I saw the hail and the rain, and of course the winds have been kicking up. So, for those that don't know, John Hale, in addition to being a Nitro funny car pilot, he's also engaged in aerobatics at a very high level, and he's been practicing his sequences for the championship events that he will be competing in coming up, and we'll chat a little bit about that. Going back to your funny car days, you know, when you and I first got acquainted was when you were racing your '69 Camaro that you won a couple of Drag Racing Online AA funny car championships in a row in, and so that was in the early 2000 teens, as you got it in 2012 and 13, and continued to run the funny car, and then started running the big show as well. So your funny car pedigree goes back over 10 years, and you continue to do that.
I'm fortunate to have people say, "Hey, man, you want to come drive my car?" I drove 3 different Nitro cars this past year. I drove the Red Baron, the One Bad Texan car in England, and I got to make some laps in the Winevsky's new Nitro Moose car that they got together. That Dylan just got his license in on Monday.
Yeah, so you have made a lot of laps in Nitro funny cars. Now, when that first Chaos event took place up at North Star Dragway 2017, and you were there with the One Bad Texan, and that was the beginning of something that you really picked up on very quickly and began to encourage Chris to take it another step. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I wanted it to become a championship point series for a couple different reasons. One, so that the cars are all going to come to all the races, you know, to compete for the points. The fans are going to get to see all the different cars, their favorite drivers come to the different races on the schedule. That was the main reason. And the other reason is you got to compete for a prize, you know, and holding that carrot at the points championship at the end of the year is the best way to do it. So you get bigger car counts with the championship point series. Also, it attracts sponsors to come in and sponsor those series. And the sponsors that Chris and Tara have in both these series keep coming back and getting more and more sponsors. So it's a great thing for them too.
Yes, it is. And we have been very blessed to have a great group of sponsors to be with us. Several of them, in fact, most of them since the very beginning, but a lot of new ones coming on. And of course, you know, we're always looking for more, so we can continue to bring the quality of the show and make it very, very worthwhile for our racers to continue to come, because that brings the fans back to see all this wide variety of cars. And man, we're going to see a bunch of incredible cars coming for this particular event. One of them is the one that you're going to be driving. You and Teddy Joe Say have got this Say It Loud machine that we're going to get a chance to see. There we go.
Yeah, how about that?
There's a new look.
It's like
And
a
man,
Batmobile.
that's looking bad to the bone.
Yeah, so that's a 14 Charger, and that came from John Dunn up in the Midwest. That body'd never been mounted on a chassis, so once TJ got it, he took it to East Texas and had Keith Jackson go to work on mounting that body for us, and he did a good job.
Well, I know that I know that we have seen you in this car before, not this body, but this particular car, and you guys have put up some really big numbers, really great numbers there at the Motorplex, and have had one thing or another to happen that kept you out of the winner's circle. But you've got you've got Mike Guger is going to be turning wrenches and helping you and your crew to hopefully get it down the racetrack plenty quick and have a chance to get that first win in Funny Car Chaos competition.
Yeah, you know, we've come close once before in a final against my buddy Ken Singleton, and came real close to getting it done. And it'd be really nice to come home with one of those cool Funny Car Chaos trophies from Ennis.
Yeah, those trophies are well known, and of course they're unique. They're one of a kind, made by Alan Meyer at Meyer Enterprises.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of those trophies that you still need to adorn your trophy case.
I don't have one, but hopefully we can get it done this year. Hopefully in Ennis. I'd sure like to have one.
Yep. Now, one of the things that people ask me all the time is about Best of Texas barbecue sauce, and of course we went across the country and sold it. You sold it at your pits, and I'm guessing you're going to be doing that at the Motorplex. Have that available for people.
Absolutely. I'm flying my good friend Mick Sheldrake in from Florida. If you know Mick, you love Mick. He likes to give people a hard time, and it's a great salesman on top of that. But yeah, we'll have a booth in our pits. So come by, pick up some jars, and say hello, and give Mick some, give him some hell.
And he will definitely appreciate that. But don't be surprised when a little smack talk comes back. Sure. Michael McGrew says best sauce ever. And I concur with that completely. Also, of course, you're still have it available on the website, I guess, at bestoftexasbarbecuesauce.com. And yes. So our all your many fans, all of those of us who love Best of Texas barbecue sauce, know where to get it. And if you don't want to wait for the shipping from the internet, come down and see them at Texas Motorplex, as they will have it.
Absolutely.
In person. So you are after the race at the Motorplex, you've got a few days, very few days, and then you're going to jump on an aircraft, I guess, and head on over to Santa Pod for some English racing.
Yeah, it's about a 9-hour flight on a 777 over there to Heathrow. And then I want to say it's an hour or so drive from Heathrow to Santa Pod to the racetrack. So we'll leave here on Wednesday evening, and we'll get there on Thursday about noon their time. And so we'll go to the racetrack and get started on test runs and getting ready for the race on Friday and Saturday.
Now, this is a race that you ran last year. And it is a tribute One Bad Texan car. I've seen the pictures of it. Beautiful race car. And Rob Elsom, is his car?
Rob, yeah.
Okay.
So I've driven he had a nostalgia car called Dirty Deeds. And I went over there a couple of years and drove that car. And then he's infected by the Nitro bug and wanted to step up. And
Imagine
so
that.
he came over here and bought a car last April. We shipped it over there in a container. It took about 4 weeks to get there, and he has done a great job putting together a team and getting that car up to top-notch status over there.
Well, and you drove his car to a runner-up finish last year and looking to get that one more win.
Yeah, so in the final there, it had rained earlier that day. Also, the temperature had reached the dew point. So in that final, there was some water or something that came up out of a crack in the racetrack, and it shot me over in the other lane. I crossed the center line. I brought it back and handed the win to the other guy. But when it shot me over in the other lane, I thought, man, he's got to be coming right up on me. And I thought he was going to, T-bone me. But he stepped on it and then just immediately shut it off. I think they had some problems. So another elusive trophy, that Santa Pod trophy, is very cool. It's a trophy that is a model of the tower over there, and the tower goes across both lanes. And that trophy is really nice, and hopefully we can get one of those for the trophy case this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that's one of the places that all of us longtime drag racing fans, we would see it in the magazines and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty much a bucket list item for anybody that is, dyed in the wool drag racing fans. And
Right.
like you are and like I am. And, but having been there and raced several times, you were talking about the vibe there and the fans and just the whole experience. Share that with Chaos Nation here, because I think it's a fascinating story.
Yeah, so these people come from all over England. Santa Pod's the only racetrack over there. So they come from all over England. They drive in, they camp out in the fields for the whole weekend. If it rains, they don't have anywhere to go, so they don't leave the racetrack. So if it rains, they just sit there and wait until it stops raining and wait till the racing resumes. But one of the coolest things about the fans there is after a good run on any car, it doesn't matter how fast it is, they clap and cheer, and it's really something to see.
And I would imagine that, when you step out of the car in the shutdown area and you're hearing applause, you'll hear things at a racetrack stateside, but it might not be exactly like applause.
No, and we've got earplugs in and all that stuff, and so probably most of the applause has died down by the time we get our helmet off and the earplugs off. But the fans will come by the pit and thank you for coming all the way over there to race. They're just it's hard to describe, really. It's something you're going to have to experience. So yeah, come over and buy a ticket and go.
Oh man, I think that's one of those deals that I hope to get to do one of these days. Now, talking about a good vibe at the racetrack, Chaos brings that. As over the years, getting into these racetracks, some that have not seen an event as large as we bring, there's a real appreciation. There's a real down-home family feel that is part of what you saw as being a little bit of a certain brand of magic that would make this carry.
Yeah, so I've been to a lot of different racetracks, raced a lot of different series. The vibe at the Chaos races is probably one of the best vibes I've experienced at any racetrack. It's a good family vibe. You can just feel it. Everybody's happy to be there, happy to help people out. It's a great family atmosphere. It's I don't know if you can create that, if it's something that just happens, or maybe it goes back to Chris and Tara and their attitudes toward the racers that help create this vibe. But it's a good vibe.
Well, the recipe that they have managed to put together in Funny Car Chaos, and then adding to that Nitro Chaos, and then here in 2025 in November, adding a little more chaos to it with Fuel Altered Chaos out in Tucson. So far the recipe continues to be kind of like that Best of Texas barbecue sauce recipe. It's memorable.
Working.
It's working. That's
is.
right. And it just continues to do that. So, what a perfect match. And I know that I speak for so many people in Chaos Nation when I express to you how grateful we are that you had the insight and the sponsorship dollars to make that first championship tour happen. Because if it hadn't been for your encouragement and your financial support, who knows if this would have taken off like it did. So when we say thank you, John Hale, it's more than just pleasantries. We really mean it.
I appreciate that. And, there's an interview I did with you at North Star up there right before we did this championship series. And I said, hey, this could be the next big deal. And I don't know if truer words have ever been spoken. It certainly has exceeded my expectations with the support of the racers. There's new cars being built. There's guys putting funny car bodies on their altered so they can race in Funny Car Chaos. The racer support and the racers have helped make this happen too. And grow.
Oh, there is no doubt. So many, we have talked about it. Over 200 teams have run in Funny Car Chaos, and I didn't know that I knew there were 200 funny cars. It's just wild, and it just continues to be an experience that's family friendly. You can bring your grandma, you can bring your children, and they're going to have a good time. You don't have to worry about what they're going to see or hear. It's exciting. It's fun. Let's, like Chris has always said, rule number one: have fun.
Right.
And it is definitely that. It is definitely that. Well, a man of vision steps forward and helps our series become what it has become, and continues to have fun himself, flying aircraft and driving Nitro funny cars and having a good life with his wife Karen and building a business. And I don't know what all else you got going on in that fertile imagination of yours, John Hale, but we wish you the very, very best. And I know everybody is anxious to see you when we start the races at the Motorplex next week.
I can't wait to get there and see them, see some old faces and good friends.
Amen to that. Well, thank you again for taking time to join us on the show tonight. Race fans, be sure that you get by and see John Hale when he is there with the Say It Loud Funny Car at the Texas Motorplex for the 5th annual Funny Car Chaos Classic, is they will be making a lot of thunder. Those of you that remember this car and remember the amazing performances that they put up on the board, absolutely jaw-dropping. And we're anticipating some more of that this year. And who knows? There's going to be some really fast cars there this year again. But John Hale might find himself in the winner's circle. I guess we are going to find out. Hey, we're going to take a little break right here. And when we come back, the power couple from Indiana, Jake Sanders, Katie Buttera, coming up next.
Larice Motorsports Insurance offers drag racers the broadest insurance policies in the industry. Larice Motorsports Insurance was created by racers for racers. Larice insures race cars on and off the track, trailers and equipment. Larice even pays racers contingencies at the fling bracket races. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Larice Motorsports Insurance today.
Taylor Motorsports Products is your first stop for quality safety equipment for your car or your driver. All of our safety equipment products are made in our facility in Albany, Oregon. From custom fit fire suits to racing seat belts, supercharger restraints, engine diapers, transmission blankets, and many other must-have items. Our racing history runs deep. We are racers building the finest safety equipment for racers. And we're a proud supporter of the Chaos.
And welcome back to Chaos Live on Wednesday night. There they sit, coming to us from the shop in Indiana, one of the power couples. Katie, glad to have you on. And Jake, glad to have you on as well. You guys look to be ready for action and all the questions that I've got for you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Now I go back to one of the things that everybody in Chaos Nation, if you don't already know, that if you're not interested in rule number 1 at Chaos, have fun, then these people are not somebody you want to hang around with, because they are all about the fun all the time, and so you will definitely get a lot of laughs and a lot of fun and a great time when you are in the company of these folks. Now, the very first Chaos, Jake, you and your dad showed up for that one and really made a statement and will forever be known as the very first winner of the A field at a Funny Car Chaos competition. What was that like?
It was quite a ride. That Dad called on like Tuesday and asked, he goes, how ready is the car? And I told him, I was like, well, I got a couple things, small things to finish, and I can load it. What do you got going, or what do you want to do? He goes, I want to go to Denton and run Funny Car Chaos. So we found some hotel rooms, and he booked a couple flights, and we had most of the crew. We were a couple guys short, and Katie and I loaded up, drove the truck to Texas on Thursday or Wednesday, unloaded, and we never been there. Kind of looked at the racetrack. It was a little green, but we managed one test run, and things seemed to go how I thought they would on the first test run, and we just kept dragging it back to the starting line and doing the same thing, massaging on it a little bit, and found our way to the winner's circle. Tried a few things that weekend, just different parts, and things showed promise. Yeah, it was a good time. The big check is on the wall of the other shop.
Yeah, I have seen some pictures from your shop, and of course your car. Your car is still there. That car is still there. I guess one of these days, if you and your dad chose to bring it back out, you could. But boy, that was a fantastic weekend. Oh no, that's not.
Eat it ourselves. At this point, we have to do faster than that.
He would have to come out and drive that one, because Jake's got his own deal going. Hey, you guys, drag racing is the family business, and I don't know. I don't imagine that you get tired of talking about that, but I know those of us that followed, little John Buttera and know your mother Lee, and we understand that this is a third generation deal for you, Katie. It makes it pretty cool for us too. And so, say again.
That car dragster on the ceiling, on the wall back there, is one that he built.
Oh, okay.
Was the last one.
All right. I couldn't see that the logo was in front of it. Okay. And so that is.
He built it to kind of go along with that dragsters needed to be rear engine cars. And he got halfway through the project and everyone told him he was a loony bin, and he sold it off, said, get it out of my shop. I don't want to look at it. You guys don't know what you're talking about. And it went to another guy's shop for 30-ish something years, and it basically was a barn find. Tom Hanna found it during an auction, called my mom and said, I have this and it's coming to your driveway, and we've had it ever since. So it's technically not anything, but it's really, really cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anything that was fabricated by that man, people flocked to him, and people flocked to him for the quality of the work. And, I heard the story about so many things that he would machine, and everybody else would say they were perfect, but they weren't perfect to him. and so they had to go in the scrap bin. Now, if you were doing what you were doing back then, you would have had some great materials to make more stuff out of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty
So
wild to
you,
look at that car and look at the craftsmanship of it, and like hear the stories of him and his machining abilities. And like my favorite piece on that car is the throttle pedal, because the tow hook is all machined out of one piece, and it bolts to the pedal seamlessly, and it almost needs to be taken off and put somewhere not on the car to where you can see it. Now that it's up there on the wall, unless you're up on a ladder, you can't see it.
it is a work of art all its own. And Katie, you're making art now, all different types. Apple Girl art. The apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. So, I've seen your work. I've seen it up close and personal. And a lot of people are big fans of what you do, and it allows you to be at the racetrack and continue to do what you do. And as we get some of the views from your website, all types of creations. Katie, what makes you tick in making these items?
A lot of it started when I was in school. My family obviously is a very artistic family, and so I knew I wanted to get my art degree. But as a 19-year-old, the biggest question of everything is, how are you going to make money? How are you going to exist? And so I got a little kickback of that art degree probably isn't going to do you much. And then I kind of started down this lane, and it all kind of came together in that I wanted to get to be at the racetrack. I wanted to get to go. So how do I get to make myself a job here besides working on a race car, driving a race car, being a social media person, all the normal things. And so I just kind of like leaned into the wind, and I just started making stuff. It started with jewelry. A lot of that was stuff I wanted to wear, stuff I wanted my mom to have. And then people liked it. So then that snowballed. And then I kind of made a few more things. And then the people liked those. And it was like, okay, cool. This is a thing. Like, there's a whole thing here. And then now Jake makes fun of me. I'll see a piece of material or a piece of something sitting here, and my little brain will start spinning, and I'll see a paper towel holder or a bracelet or something else. And he's like, I have no idea where you just pulled that from, but cool, let's make it. Like, let's see what you got. And so it's been nice because so much of my materials obviously are recycled from the race cars. And so I call it being the door troll. When people show up to bring blocks here for block repair, there's a box on the top with all the stuff I like in it. And so it just kind of keeps me going and going and going. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun.
Well, that is fantastic, the way that you're able to take these items and your imagination turns it into something that other people want, and it allows you to continue to do that. Now, as a guy that spent some time in the shop doing a little soldering, doing a little welding, never any good at it enough to make it a profession, but it does take a certain amount of practice, doing things the wrong way before you learn to do them the right way. What was that like for you? How did you get in the shop and start with all that work?
So I fondly say that I was self-taught, and a lot of my self-taught was my stumbling. So I had a lot of people that helped me in the very beginning. My uncle had a chassis repair shop and a big steel building shop in California before we moved. And when we moved, he sent me with a welder and said, you're going to learn how to do this. Then he came back here and I got a 20-minute tutorial of casting an arc and dipping your rod and having a puddle and all the things. And he took me to the scrapyard and he bought me a bunch of pieces and said, when I come back, I want them all stuck to each other. Okay. So he came back and he threw it on the floor and half of it broke off and he goes, that sucked. Go again. And so I had a couple people that kind of helped me like that. And a lot of it was I just was doing it. I didn't really understand how I was doing it in the beginning, but I kind of noticed the stuff that worked, the stuff that didn't, the stuff that broke, what it looked like, what it didn't look like. I'm the worst about ugly welds. I'm very mean to myself and everyone else. Yeah, everything has to be very pretty because I have to keep up with the Joneses. But yeah, I mean, I just started doing it, and then I just kept doing it. And that made me better eventually.
And you do it long enough, you get to where you can't do it wrong, and that's when you have actually mastered the craft. And Jake, you have started your business there, and I have just been amazed to see how rapidly your business has grown as you continue to you're doing fuel tanks, you're bringing cars back together. Now, what everybody's got their attention on right now is this car that you're going to drive at Ennis, the Menace, Dennis Mitchell's Menace. That you talk about, Katie's not the only one with some imagination and creativity in that shop right now. You guys are really bringing a interesting piece to the dance. Tell us about it.
The Menace it lives up to its name every chance it gets, no matter whether you're trying to drive it, race it, work on it. It's been very fortunate to meet Dennis and his best friend Cliff. They got the car and they're based in Jackson, Tennessee. They brought it up to my shop a couple years ago, and they were just looking for somebody to give them some guidance on just making it run, making it go down the racetrack. It had never really been ran in how they had purchased it. And so we put my fuel system on it that is similar to a lot of outlaw nostalgia funny cars like Lyle's and a few others out there that run funny car Nitro CHAOS. So at least we had something that was something I knew. The design of the car, the engine's real far back. It's kind of high up. You can't see out of it. It's when you try and drive it at night, the header flames pretty much blind you. It's like taking two flashlights and putting them right next to your eyes. It's pretty wild. It's fun to drive. I drove Dad's funny car once, probably, 8 or 9 years ago, and it was a long time ago. And I don't know. I always I was more interested in making them run than driving them. And then I was helping Dennis and Cliff, and Dennis was like, "Hey, you want to stand on the gas in this thing?" And I was like, "All right, sure. What the heck? Let's try it." And I remember I rolled through the water box in Bowling Green for the first time, and I did the burnout, and I stopped, and I hesitated to put it in reverse for a second, and I thought, what did you get yourself into today, kid? Like, it's quite a machine to drive. We spent all summer last year just massaging on it, just figuring out what it likes, what it doesn't like, and I'm a born and bred funny car guy, so at least the motor's in the right spot for me. But yeah. But it's not like if you give me a funny car and we look at the kind of what you have for parts, they all kind of run the same. Some of the same practices in how you run a tune-up in a funny car. They all, with a little bit of exception to how you get to the fine details of all the fine numbers, they're all pretty close to the same. The dragster, it's nothing from the funny car tune-up book works, except that like the engine combination as far as the fuel system and compression and stuff. But how you run the clutch is totally different. So we spent a number of rounds, me learning how to drive it, and so then the crew chief has to be accepting to the driver that is learning how to drive. And so some of the runs were maybe failed attempts on my part, whether it was me being the crew chief or me being the driver or a little bit of both. But at the last race, we finally got it on a right path, and it made full runs, and it was drivable. And when they say it's like driving a piece of chain, that's not far off. There was times where the wheel turned, and it's like, well, yeah, it's not getting any worse, but it's not getting any better. So I guess we'll just keep going. There's been a couple times where I tried to drive it like it was a sprint car. So that was fun. You got to kind of learn what you can and can't do in it. It's a little different. It's like, it's like I said, it lives up to its name every chance it gets. but we have fun running it. It's Cliff and Dennis. They were new to burning nitro. They had never had a top fuel car or anything that burned nitro before. So those guys are fun because every time we start it, it's like they're having the most fun. And if you can't have fun being around those two guys, like, I don't know, something must be wrong with you, because like just watching them, just like when we do the warm up, I get to drive it. So I let Dennis warm it up, Cliff, Katie's been in it, all of our friends have been in it. Like, we started at the shop the other day, and the guy that lives directly across the driveway from me, he's a all-time race fan, been to the Indy 500 for 40 years straight. We've probably fired up 10 different cars out in front of the shop, and he comes over every time, hangs out, brings his beer, hangs out and waits. This time the other day he came over and I was like, all right, Bob, it's your turn. He's like, what do you mean? Get in, like, let's go. And we just have fun. It's, the racing's why we're there, but having fun is more of a priority, I think. I mean, obviously the competition, I want to win and make it run good and all the things, but it's hard not having fun with that thing.
I mean, it goes back to what you were saying with John Hale at the end about chaos just being fun. Our motto, like, even though we take it more serious than anyone, we are really, really serious about not being serious. Everything is fun in our pit area. If there is a joke to be made, the jokes are made. If there's shit to be hung on you, we're going to hang it. Like, if it's giggles per gallon. Like, if you're not having a good time, it makes everything too hard. We should just have a good time doing it. And those guys are all about it. Dennis and Cliff think it's so much fun. They think we're crazy. They think everything's awesome. It's just, it makes it better.
And we whack the gas on the warm-up. So,
yeah.
So if you want to come down, David, in Ennis, and you want to get a throttle whack, you just come on down to the pit area, and we'll put you in there for a warm-up. All you got to do is pull the brake when I tell you.
Okay. I can follow instructions. I can definitely do that. So
if the neighbor Bob can do it, then you can do it.
Yeah. Well, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. So I'll see you next week. I'm not
sounds good. How many days do you want to do it?
Well, I don't know. After the first one, I may want to do it every time.
If it runs good after the first one, you might have to.
Oh man, yeah. So rule number one: have fun, and you guys not only having fun at the racetrack, but as entrepreneurs, two entrepreneurs I'm looking at, creating a business from the ground up, starting it with an idea, now gathering the material, the resources, the support, and then the all-important customer base. What's it like starting your business? There's a lot of folks that, they're going to have a job their whole life, but they might want to start a business as an entrepreneur like you guys are doing. Do you recommend it? How much fun is it? How hard is it?
It's really hard.
If you are okay with getting strapped in a roller coaster that when you go over the top and you're headed down the other side, you're not sure if the track's there until you glide over the gap. And then sometimes you get on the bottom and you go up again.
It's not for the weak. It is not for the weak. You have to be headstrong, confident. There cannot be meltdowns, although there's a lot. It literally is a
you have to put in the time.
Coaster. Yeah, it's
all of those back there. Normally, this is the first time in quite some time that this machine right here has actually been shut off, and the other ones in the back run. They'll run as much parts as I can. Can I get them set up to run and program? And it's just time. You have to put in the time. The stuff, everything.
Everything is based off of you. So like when you go to your normal job and you clock in at 9 in the morning, the jobs, the list, the whatevers, the emails are waiting for you. And then when you're done with your day at 5 o'clock, you put your pencil down, you walk away, and none of it's your problem until you come back the next day and you clock in at 9.
I'm not here.
And then none of that is here. It is 24 hours a day. If you don't do it, it doesn't get done, and then you don't get paid, or people are mad at you, or you miss a deadline, or whatever. You don't get the job again. That's your fault. You can't. It's on nobody else but you. So the self-discipline is hard, and you have to be on it.
Got to give a little to get a little.
But it works best for us because it's both of us. I think a lot of our relationship is bolstered by the fact that we both want to be out here. We both want to be in the shop doing stuff. I think it would be different if one of us was the entrepreneur and one of us was the standard 9-to-5er who thought they had a life the rest of the time, because those two things don't go together as well. But
yeah, we just quit working.
Yeah, we went inside and made ourselves in clean clothes to come on this show and look presentable.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were able to do that, and it's also, that vision. We're talking with John Hale about the vision to say, okay, let's take this and make it something. You guys reached a point that the vision took over and said, I want to do this. I want to make something significant happen. And I think I'm just the right person to do that. Now, you had to get started somehow, but the point is that you guys did. We talk about the heroes and the sheroes of the world, and you have to be willing to step out on a little bit of faith, and you both have done that. And Katie, you're making some trophies for CHAOS events. You've made several in the past, and you're making some for the Fuel Altered CHAOS coming up in November. So we appreciate those creative juices that you have flowing to make, that unique, one-of-a-kind deal, that somebody's going to say, this was the first one, and it was made by Apple Girl Art, and it's something special. So do you do a lot of trophies?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for me. So CHAOS trophies, I made the first 2 or 3 years of CHAOS championship trophies, and those were the first real championship batch of trophies I had made, and it was so much fun. And it was so much fun to get to make trophies for a series. We were in contention for the championship hunt that year, so it was really fun. When we got to the track, I'm like, you guys better win my trophy or I'm gonna be mad. So it's more fun that way. But like you said, it's one of a kind. I like when there's a handful and that's it. I've done stuff for NHRA. I make their Grand Marshal trophies, and it's 40 trophies, and they're still wonderful, and I love doing it. But by the end of 40 trophies, they don't feel as one of a kind for me anymore. So I like to do things where I can make one of one. Those are more my jam. My brain doesn't like cookie cutters, trophies like that. My brain likes when I can make one really cool one or 2 really cool ones that aren't going to look like anything else again. Because my little artistic stuff starts swirling, and when they start to look the same, it just isn't as much fun for me. But I'm not going to turn down a project, because it goes back to that same thing. If you get a project done, you get money and you get paid, and then you can do the next project. So it's a vicious cycle for me. I'm very excited to make them again this year, to make the championship trophies, to make the Fuel Altar trophy. It's going to be super fun, and they're going to be really cool. So it's fun. Yeah.
Well, I know that those who win those are going to be extremely happy that you have put your craft to work on it. Now, Jake, you're in the driving category here in 2025. You guys are going to all the Nitro CHAOS races? Am I correct?
That's the plan. Yep. I'm going to drive the Menace at all of the Nitro CHAOS races, and then we're going to help Todd Barker with the new Back in Black funny car. Whatever ones, I think he's going to go to all the Nitro CHAOS, or most of them, whatever he decides. But sounds like we're on board. He's the next victim of Snake Enterprises. We'll see. But he was up over the wintertime, and we had his whole fuel system on the flow bench and set up the all valve, and we're going to go test next Wednesday in Ennis. So we shall see how that goes with him on Wednesday, and then getting the Menace and trying to remember how to be a driver so the crew chief doesn't fire him.
Yeah.
And now that we let her run the gas bottle, she thinks she's the crew.
I was the crew chief before, just now I have extra powers. So
Isn't it talking about fun, and you guys are all about some fun? Isn't it fun to see all these cars that are being built, that are being restored, that are coming to race CHAOS and other things, but just I mean, I've got a list here of new cars. There's 9 that we have not ever seen before that are going to be at this race. And that's 9 and counting, I should say, that we have not seen in chaos competition before. But, you know, that rejuvenation of the spirit of some folks of bringing more hardware and bringing more folks to the racetrack to get this experience that, you know, it grabbed you and it grabbed both of you and it grabbed me a long time ago. And it just keeps on giving. And it's really fun to see so many people embracing what we've got going on. And you guys get a chance to impact that in a very meaningful way in terms of making cars go down the racetrack, driving them down the racetrack, helping with the crew, and helping people take home something special from the races. So, you know, thank you to you guys for what you do.
Thank you.
It's been fun to be.
Yeah.
It's one of the more fun series we've ever really been with. Got to go to all the things, all the people, different cars.
People are great.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate in the Facebook comment wars when people are mad about 8th mile racing. That the coolest part about chaos races is that on any given Saturday, there's a funny car versus dragster, alter versus a funny car, weird looking funny car against a new late model funny car. Like it's you never have that kind of racing with the great equalizer of the 8th mile anywhere else, and you have no idea who's going to win most of the time. And that makes it that much more fun. And I think that's why people like it so much. I think that's why people want to come here and race, because they actually have a fighting chance. And it's a good time. It's been fun to get to play here.
And it helps that we've probably made, I don't know, we've got a few cars that have come out of the shop here. Chuck Lofton, he brought his new Murph car by on his way home, and we made all brand new XRP hose for him, and just got the motor in the car. And Chuck and I, he's wild. He's fun. He got a different take on how to do stuff, and we've been dialoguing back and forth. And I went to test with him last summer with the bucket list car one weekend, and we got him back on track a little bit, or on a better path of going down the racetrack again, and tested last Saturday with the new altered, and it's fast. So,
I think we've counted there's 8 or 9 chaos cars.
Yeah, we got to be getting close to 10. And then Ryan just picked up his altered yesterday. Yes, yesterday the altered left. There's a lot of cars.
We'll keep turning them out, and because everybody in Chaos Nation is excited to see what's going to show up at the racetrack, and we appreciate you, both of you, for your contribution to drag racing as a whole and Chaos in particular. Hey, again, thank you so much for taking time to be a part of Chaos Live tonight, and we'll see you at the Motorplex in about a week.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
We'll see you when it's time for the warm-up.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Katie and Jake, a power couple that live in Indiana, and they are doing all kinds of great things in the world of drag racing, including in the world of funny car chaos. So we'll take our final break before we come back and close this one out. And so hang in there. We'll be right back with Chaos Live.
Driven Racing Oil's GP1 Nitro 70. Trusted by top engine builders, winning racers, and devoted horsepower enthusiasts across the world. Driven takes legendary base oils such as the ones from Brantford, Pennsylvania, which comprise our GP1 line. Then, we boost that superior base oil with state-of-the-art additive packages. Driven's GP1 Nitro 70 not only provides anti-wear protection, but can shield cylinders from washout and fuel dilution caused by methanol or nitro-based fuels. Learn more about Driven Racing Oil by following us on Facebook or Instagram at Driven Racing Oil, or shop now at drivenracingoil.com.
Well, some of the best in chaos right there. John Hale, Katie, and Jake.
Yeah, what a great night, getting a chance to talk with, and a couple of those, John, well, I guess all 3 of them actually probably a part of that very first Chaos event at North Star Dragway when this whole traveling road show got kicked off. before it was a traveling road show. It was a one-off deal, and by golly, it was a hit. So here we are, several years later, just having a great time and rolling with it on our, what are we looking at now, our 7th, 8th year of championship tour, and then add two to it for the first years where there wasn't one. But Lee, this event coming up in the Texas Motorplex, it's going to be some kind of good time, as we talked about a lot of the different things with a lot of new cars, a lot of new entries, and several racers running Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos at the same event. They're going to have their hands full. That's a fact.
Absolutely. That's going to be interesting to see who can manage that well. I'm surprised even some are going to attempt it. But, hey, it's chaos. Go attempt it and have fun while doing it. It is going to be a spectacular show. Look, this season, David, been doing this with you for, 3 years now and been live one way or the other. And we come to these episodes that are before the season really starts, and we are routinely stating things like, we're getting closer. It's going to be a great season. We can't wait. And every year we're saying it's going to be, it's already better than it was last year. And we're saying that again in 2025 over 2024. And we did it in 2024 over 2023, and so on and so on. Cannot expect anything but that it's already going to be better. And we're going to get that at the Texas Motorplex. We're going to get that at Tulsa. We're going to get that out there in Tucson. I can tell you, Jim Hughes is like excited. And it is not nowhere near November. Like, he wants it now. I mean, look, it's going to be a great year.
It is. It is. I was going through hotel reservations today, getting booked at all the places through the first half of the year. And we've got all that done. And then second half of the year, when we start going to the Midwest and over to Ohio, to Edgewater, there's a ton of races, and a lot of great times will be had as these new cars come out of the shop, as they come out from being prepared. Some of them we're going to get a chance to see for the very first time. And the backup girls, the crew chiefs, the crews, all the families, and the kids, when they come out and experience this magic that we love so much. And man, it is going to be such a phenomenal year. Like you said, we say it every year, but it lives up to the billing. It has every year, and I see no reason for it to change now. In fact, if anything, if this is even possible, I am more excited about this season, than I was even last year. And that's saying something, because this is it's hard to get that revved up year after year after year. But the people make it, and we can't wait to see everybody at the Motorplex.
Absolutely, man. There's some great things that are going to take place this year, and I can tell you, like March meet, like all the Fuel Ultra guys, we're like, Fuel Ultra Chaos, Fuel Ultra Chaos. We can't wait. We can't wait. We can't wait. We're looking so much forward to it. So, again, hats off to everyone involved, Chris and Tara Graves. They continue to ramp up for people who just want to go race and have fun while doing it, a place to do it. And whether that's Funny Car Chaos, Nitro Chaos, Fuel Ultra Chaos this year, and whatever it may become, chaos, baby. It's a good time.
It definitely is that, and like Katie said, one of the factors that is such a big deal is that all the racers coming in there, they know they've got a fighting chance. They may not win the A field, but hey, if they win the D field, the points are the same, the trophy is the same, and that feeling that you get from having gone through the day and turned on the last win light, you can't replace that. And the fact that you've got a real chance to come in there and do that, it keeps them coming back, and that keeps me coming back. So anyway, we are looking forward to it in a very, very big way. So Lee, you got the trip to California to the March meet, got a chance to spend some time out there. Had you been before? I can't remember if you've been there before.
Once. 2023. But due to weather, Top Fuel did not run on Monday, and it was completed in October. This year, we had spectacular Chamber of Commerce weather, as you would say, David Rattan, and it was just that. And the March meet was the March meet, if you know what I mean. And spectacular crowd on Saturday. Every day had a good crowd, but Saturday's really the big day there, and it was spectacular. Some great racing. Again, fuel altered. Chris was kind enough to ante up and help on the coverage there and promote fuel altered chaos. Kyle Huff, what an amazing story from the wall to a win in March meet. Testing, he hit the wall and then comes out and wins the thing on Sunday. Spectacular story. And, a Nitro Chaos competitor that we have seen in Tyler Hilton all the way to the final round, had the car to beat. Pete Kaiser somewhere pulled out his best light of the day and goes and wins Top Fuel. And then I think one of the great stories, maybe one of the best stories, is John Capps in a job interview. Rockets the number 2 qualifier right below Shane Westerfield and the Austin O'Brien gang. And in the final, it's 1 and 2 versus each other. Shane goes red. John Capps now has his own March meet victory along with his brother, Ron Capps. All pretty cool.
It certainly is. And, of course, we had John guest announcing with us at the Texas Motorplex at the Funny Car Chaos Classic a couple years ago. And so, congratulations to him. It's always great to have someone experience, to know someone great is experiencing something spectacular like that again. So, well, I tell you, we are looking forward to some great things happening. I think our next Chaos Live event will be Wednesday after the Classic has concluded, and we'll have all the results from that spectacular event right here with Lee Kraft and me sharing the information from that event. It's going to be a good one. I hope that if you have not already got your reservations made, and if you haven't already got your travel plans made to be at the 5th Annual Funny Car Chaos Classic featuring Nitro Chaos from the 40th anniversary season of the Texas Motorplex, I hope that you've got that you'll get that done very, very quickly, because it's going to be a good one. The buzz is incredible from people all across the country coming to the Texas Motorplex to race or simply to take it in. I was at one of my pizza places that I like to go to the other day, and the guy there was like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for this event. It's absolutely been on my calendar. Cannot wait to get there." I know that I feel that way. He feels that way. And a lot of you out there feel the same way. Emily Smith feels the exact same way. So from us to you, get there, or as we say in the world of drag racing, be there. And we will see you at the Texas Motorplex for the 5th Annual Funny Car Chaos Classic, the biggest show there is. Come find us and enjoy it. Good night, everybody. We'll see you for the next Chaos in 2 weeks.
The biggest funny car race in the world is back. The 5th Annual Spell Paving Services Funny Car Chaos Classic, presented by Vertex Contractors, will rock the historic Texas Motorplex with 3 days of ground-pounding chaos drag racing. April 3rd through 5th, it's a chaos double down with 32-plus outlaw floppers of all kinds, plus the flamethrowing, fuel-burning racers of the DMP Awnings Nitro Chaos Series. Plus, see dozens of gear-slamming Dirty South Gassers, TBR8 Nostalgia Racing, and more. It's the 40th anniversary of the Texas Motorplex, and we're celebrating chaos style. Yeah. Every ticket is a pit pass, and kids 12 and under are free. Tickets and information at texasmotorplex.com. Trust us when we say you gotta be there.